So, after a long gosh darn time, I am finally getting you something. Now, I've always heard of the name Alfred Hitchcock. This man is a legend amongst cinephiles, and of course, with one of them being Saboteur. This is from 1942. And now, Gary Cooper and Barbara Stanwyck were originally considered by Hitchcock for the lead roles, with Harry Carey as the chief villain. Towards the end of the film, when Fry is taking a cab to the Statue of Liberty, there is a shot of an actual capsized ship. Hitchcock got this shot when Normandy was capsized in its New York pier. It has been reported that the Mafia, not the Nazis, were the perpetrator. They were said to be attempting to twist the government's arm to hire them to provide protection against Nazi covert attacks. Despite the Navy wanting this shot omitted from the film, Hitchcock kept it in. And of course, he has his little cameo, kind of like how Stan Lee has his cameos in all the Marvel movies. This guy did it first, in front of a drugstore. And this is earlier in his career, so it's not like, it's not going to be like The Birds, Psycho, North by Northwest, Shadow of a Doubt. Even this is like 1942, still, it's like he is still being riveting with his direction style and being a true legend, probably amongst the top 10 directors of the 1900s, I would say. And it's just the fact that he was able to just command so many people, which I'm always impressed when a director is able to do that. But for this one in particular, especially with what seems like a simple plot, this riveting wartime thriller stars Robert Cummings as a factory worker who is falsely accused of sabotage and sets off on a desperate, action-packed, cross-country chase to clear his name. And yes, it is an action-packed movie. It's a road movie. It's also a thriller. It's a thriller in the sense of there's a lot of stuff that just goes on and happens. It's just like getting all the way from Los Angeles to New York in the span of, 109 minutes. And that's just like this was unusual for Hollywood at the time. And when you have a movie that long, you better have a lot of interesting sets to make this more entertaining. And, for 1942, 83 years ago, this is what it is. This is a movie that keeps you entertained because part of it is the locales. It's like you got a giant hangar for airplanes. You got a whole band of traveling circus folks. You've got a desert. See, that's because this was unusual for the time. Instead of being in a sound stage, they filmed pretty much all across most of the country. And it was considered, this was kind of where Hitchcock gets his groundwork going. And at the same time, it's like, but there's more to it than that. It's also that looks can be deceiving because when Barry Kane is set up, because when they were going to try and extinguish the fire, they said, "Here, take this extinguisher," rather than having it produce the suds. It actually contains gasoline, and some guy unknowingly takes it, goes into the fire, and everything the fire just becomes massive and things like that. So it's just the beginning, because it's like, okay, yeah, one, this fire extinguisher can be deceiving. Two, here's this clean-cut guy who looks like that he's an honest person with a pool and a granddaughter, but then turns out he's already called the cops. Let's go to this blind man's house who could already tell that that Barry was innocent, and he's like, I heard the handcuffs, but I knew that he was innocent because it's like, again, the appearances can be deceiving. Then it goes through a bunch of circus performers, bearded lady and things like that, and just it's like, what is it meant to be an American citizen, upholding your rights and just looks like later on, even one of the saboteurs is in a supposed news truck, which people thought would be believable, but then again, when it's 1942 and you use your newspaper for as primary communication and getting your news, you kind of just figure like, okay, I see now that's what's going on. So it could just be like, always be very selective about what you read. It's like, let's get these saboteurs that are supposedly helping our hero, but in the end, they're all just trying to place the blame on him, and that way they can continue with their ascendancy of power and wanting it all, even if they have to take it by force. Even just like about roughly an hour in, we get a massive dance scene, some great music, and it was a tense scene because up on a belt, because as our hero is about to give a speech, who is going to reveal the veil that this person named Miss Sutton is having donating to all these charities, when in fact she's part of the the circle as well. He's like, he was about to reveal him, but then there's some person up there with a firearm right on the balcony saying, if you say anything wrong, you are going to be billed. So he says, yes, she's going to donate part of her jewelry that goes up where the price increases, like $1,700, $2,000. And, it's one of those on the lam movies that works so well because it's got a lot of great frenetic energy. And I know with this energy, it's just like, it was not boring at all. When we get to New York and we see this group of schmucks who are planning on just destroying some ship or something like that, and we even see the plan and everything, and it's like, okay, I did not expect that to come in, but it all works for this movie. Even at the ending, where this guy named Frank Fry, I wonder if his nickname was French. Where they're like right atop the Statue of Liberty, which was also presented, which one could see as like a battle of democracy versus freedom or something. It's on Wikipedia, however you can interpret it that way. Where they're quoting about like what is on, give me your masses, whatever the phrase is, that as people come in and welcomed into the country, and then what's being presented is the dichotomy of the other ones. You get the political messaging, and you're just like, yeah, that's been repeated throughout history, including fifth columnists of those who are trying to help, like, saboteurs who work it kind of in behind the scenes in order to help a person rise to power. And when you just learn from there, like, yeah, I'm just not going to trust certain authority figures, and I'm just going to determine what I want and actually think critically and not just listen to one person. That's just what I've seen, and I just think that's what's going on. So at the end, where French Fry and Barry Kane are, it's an iconic scene, and I'm spoiling this, but it's 83 years old, where the guy drops, and it's one heck of a scene where he's falling, because it's so symbolic, the fact that the crew managed to take photos of Lady Liberty and then make a replica, right, perfect ratio replica size and everything else, and we get French Fry who's falling, and then the movie ends with finis instead of end. I forgot what language finis is. This is to imply that the saboteur ring is over because the cops have been summoned and everything, so it's like, it's a full, complete story that really does feel like it justifies the 1 hour 9 minute 1 hour 49 minute runtime that is so just gosh darn good. Yeah. So I kind of had to transport myself back to the 1940s to see how this movie would exist, but it's like I've seen some Hitchcock movies, North by Northwest, Psycho, The Birds, etc. But I said, you know what? I did Harry Potter, I did all the library movies. Time to go back to Hitchcock. So yes, I really do recommend that you watch Saboteur